Alright, here we go. Just see the timer counting down here. I should pause play these here.
And I will recrop Jaylow's thing in a sec. Uh-oh. Let's just make sure we know what they get in the throne room. There we go.
Yep. Okay, there we go.
Oh, actually, oh no, it's off. I will fix that in a sec.
Yeah, it was a little bit off, but... So let's see what they have here.
Herb and gold, so nothing I need to mark.
Herb, gold, nope, okay, so let's see what they have. They have the... Let's see if they have the return spell here.
Oh, they do!
Oh, they do! Yes, that is a very nice start here. That will allow them to save their key here.
I've got a note.
I imagine what they're both going to do is, okay, it looks like Seawolf is going to actually save here, which is also another smart thing to do. I imagine they will both probably use the key to go buy more keys, and then kind of proceed from there.
I think every single race I've commentated on so far, this has happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not, there are a couple different kind of variants on this, but they all amount to the same end result, which is, have a key while basically being able to exit out of the throne room and still have your key. Besides getting the return spell, you could also find a pair of wings in one of the chests, or you could also get a second magic key in one of the chests. Is another way you can kind of have this sort of beginning here. And we do see both players are purchasing more keys here.
And Seawolf checking the basement first. It is the Shrine Cave.
Yep,
so that pays off for him time-wise. It's not a cave he has to worry about going through with monsters or anything.
Right, does looks like it was the Death Necklace chest, actually. Now we see, okay, there is gold in the Tanagel Treasury, so that's good.
Gold grinds to come.
There. Yep. Gold grind always nice. Oh, there's some more gold. It's always good. And another magic key for good measure. There we go.
So no vital items, but the gold grind possibility will be later, and in the meantime, both players get to start with a lot of money. If they find a nearby town, it'll pay off.
Yes, indeed. It'll be enough for a hand axe, large shield, maybe half plate armor, depending on how they decide to approach this here.
Right, they're also going to be really close to a broadsword, I think. So that's another possibility.
Yes, indeed. That's another way to approach it. So we see Seawolf exiting here. Let's see, come across a Scorpion.
Oh, and the spell of Hurt. So the Seawolf gets a huge jump start with a Scorpion.
Yes, very nice. Very smart to use Hurt early on here. Obviously, he has it from the start. May as well use it. Hurt More, of course, we know how useful Hurt More is, but I do think right here, this is a, very smart to use normal Hurt. That is one I don't think of very often, quite honestly. Either because I'm not sure I've ever actually started with just normal Hurt, where it would have helped, honestly. But
yeah, it generally only comes up when you start with Hurt, or if you get it a little later and you have a very weak start with no towns nearby, and you can hurt mid-range enemies such as Metal Scorpions, which are worth a ton. Seawolf gets hurt more by a magician. He's getting his gold back right away in the treasury, which makes perfect sense for when he finds his first town. Meanwhile, Jaylow has found a cave, and it looks like it's Swamp South, so he's exiting immediately.
it's interesting. It's interesting. If I find the swamp cave early on, although he is still only level 1 with 0 MP, so maybe that's why. But if I find the swamp cave south, I'll usually go through it, or if I have outside, cast it just to see what's on the other side. See if I can backdoor into Garenham, for instance.
Now, because I had Jaylow's sound off, I couldn't tell if he walked down in that second cave or not. If he did, it's either the Mountain Cave or Tablet Cave. If he did not, then it could also be the other end of the Swamp Cave or Garen's Grave.
True, I didn't actually see him myself, so... Oh, and we see red slimes have Dragon Lord breath. Ouch.
So plenty of interesting, amusing variety in the beginning, but ultimately both players will be fine because they do have the hurt spell.
Yes. Jaylow opting to reset here.
Seawolf with a fine opening lead and plenty of opportunities to come.
Yes, and already we're at the point where magicians are running away.
Yeah.
Just to punch out that red line there. Good move.
And Jaylow, having only found caves, might be ready to settle with an early grind before finding a town.
Alright, that is one of the big things of Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Oh, he's not going to want to grind on that wizard, however, I'm pretty sure.
That's cruel.
That is cruel. And, I was going to say, is one of the big things about Dragon Warrior Randomizer is kind of realizing on the fly, okay, now is the time to explore, or you know what, this is not working, I should probably stick around and grind up a few levels here before I try exploring.
Now Jaylow has the right idea in mind here, trying to maintain around 1,500 gold, but what he doesn't realize is that because he already has a lot of keys, he can wait until he finds a town and then get extra gold with a maximum of 2 trips to the treasury, and that could potentially take less time if he's going to die more.
That is true. See, Seawolf doing a little bit of exploration here. Hasn't found too much except enemies he doesn't particularly want to fight, it seems.
And I think Jaylow's already been in this basement. He shouldn't waste time going for just 100 and something gold. This is a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah, this was either the Death Necklace... Yeah, this is the Death Necklace chest, so I wonder if... Nope. I believe you're right. I believe he was in there already. I don't know... He just tried to take the chest again, which was interesting.
Yeah, obviously the original game accounts for that possibility. It includes the one chest in the basement so that a gold grind glitch is impossible until you actually suicide out of a cave. Only 8 chests in Tentagel.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and he finds out that skeletons have hurt more as well.
Unfortunate, but it was also likely the skeleton would kill him in 2 attacks. A very low probability of success there.
Indeed. But we've been talking about the gold grind glitch a little bit. Can you explain that for our viewers here in Nescard?
Yeah, you know, I get asked every single time I run the game, and I never mind giving the explanation. So the reason the game was programmed the way it was is probably because of memory limitations on the Famicom, the Famicom version, which got ported over. So instead of removing a chest from the game when it's taken, it is instead it's moved to a storage cell, and there's only room for 8 of these storage cells in memory. So they made sure not to put more than 8 chests in any town, cave, or castle, including Tentagel. But when you're in a cave, you open a chest and you die, the game does not have a trigger to remove the flag that you've actually left the cave, and so the treasure chest stays open and it remains in one of those 8 storage cells. And that's the reason that it counts towards essentially a 9th chest, and when you get back into Tentagel and you open one of these chests, once the 8 storage cells are full, the game has no room to place it, and so it stays on the map and you can take it over and over.
Yes, indeed. And the other thing to note is that the 3 chests in the throne room that stay disappeared when you die and you go back to Tentagel, those actually count as 3 of the 8 chests in this in the memory there.
Right, so it's interesting that they don't come back onto the map, but it makes sense from a perspective of, you know, the game doesn't want to give you that gold over and over. So Jaylow has found 2 towns. Or sorry, the Seawolf, rather. Getting a start on everything here.
Yep, getting the dragon scale, and that guy there. Oh, he's gonna outside of the. Might have to return.
Doesn't work in a town. He's trying to get past the guy.
He's trying to get past the guy here. Yep, I've definitely had that happen before.
And not even checking for a broadsword, going straight for the treasure chests first.
Actually, not a bad play, just in case there is an Erdrick sword here.
Yeah, it could be here.
There's another magic key. And empty. So no Erdrick sword there, but let's see what's in the basement here.
Once again, the Jerk Cave is in Garinham. I've seen that a lot lately. So he's going to exit and re-enter and now check what is for sale.
Yes, indeed. I believe in both of my tournament races, the Jerk Cave has been in Garinham. A flame sword, large shield. Let's see. Other than that, not a whole lot.
He's only bought the large shield so far.
Alright. I might have in that position picked up clothes just because why not, but on the other hand, 2 defense power, probably not particularly worth it.
The other town is Remolder, less relevant from a key perspective, but another weapon shop to check.
Oh, no item shop here. There's a note here. So if you're in a seed where you find, for instance, an early cursed belt, and you find Remolder as your first town, you think, sweet, I'm in business, I'll just sell this cursed belt at the item. Oh, right. My Seawolf here picking up a hand axe.
Probably still too soon to fight that Druid Lord. He correctly runs, but
Yeah,
it'll be within range soon.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been able to do anything with that Druid Lord. Picking up another level here. Oh, 0 power! I love it!
I'm so glad you're here. Rogue Scorpion also too difficult, and unfortunately Jaylow is not yet equipped to handle a Metal Scorpion.
A Metal Scorpion either now. That Rogue Scorpion saying, nope, no way to running away there.
Jaylow's still looking for that first town where purchases can be made. Once he does, again, he has numerous means of picking up as much gold as he needs. Which is actually what the Seawolf is doing right now, picking up extra gold for his next pick of the litter.
Meanwhile, here, Jaylow does reach level 3. Yeah, Wolf Lord gonna be a little too strong still.
And yeah, Seawolf taking the time to pick up extra gold, just as I said this was a possibility. He might be looking for something like half plate.
Yeah, half plate, I think there's a full plate at some point as well. You might as well, especially since there is the magic key also in the treasury. So he's not losing anything necessarily.
Right. And yeah, that's what I meant, full plate. If it's not full plate, I know there is full plate available, so that's probably what he's going for. If it's not that, it'll be 2 items. But I think it's full plate.
I would think so as well. But we'll see.
Meanwhile, Jaylow now strong enough to beat a skeleton with Hurt, progresses to level 4. Both players relatively equal. Jaylow just looking for that first place to buy things.
Yep, and in the chat, people mentioning that the Seawolf might be doing the slow grind up to a flame sword, which I guess is a possibility, but that seems like it would take quite a while.
Yeah, it's possible.
Stranger things have happened, though, so...
Yeah, you never know what you're going to see in these races.
Yeah, I know, I've definitely done my share of slow grinds when I've thought it's necessary. And, you know, if you're going to do it, I suppose this is probably the ideal treasury to do it in. With the 2 gold chests and the magic key in there.
Right. More than 1,000 gold each time and no need for additional key trips.
Yep. one of the, I guess you could say this is one of the fastest slow grinds you could do.
Right. So it's worth noting, Jaylow's having a bit of a rough time, but Jaylow's already equalized levels, and if he doesn't do this lengthened gold grind, he's not really going to be behind with a weaker weapon. There's still going to be plenty of stuff for him to chop up with a hand axe. Which I assume he's going to get next, but we'll see. Looks like one more trip for the Sea Wolf, and then he'll have enough for that flame sword. It does look like that's the target.
Yep, that does seem like what he's going for here. Okay, Jaylow opting to cast Hurt on that red slime. That's interesting. I think he would be strong enough to punch them out in one hit now. And with this slow grind, you kind of see an example of what Nestcard was talking about earlier, with the chests not actually disappearing permanently. They just kind of get temporarily moved when they're opened up. And part of the reason for this, maybe the whole reason, is in case you accidentally drop or leave behind a key item to beat the game. This way, the game basically allows you to go back and get it a second time, because the chest will respawn.
Right, so as speedrunners would say, you can't soft lock yourself by eliminating a key item.
Yes, indeed. And
it's worth
people
noting
mentioning the red slimes have Dragon Lord Breath, and yes, that is true, but I would think he would have to be doing more than 3 damage in a turn right now. Oh, so, meanwhile, Jaylow has found Cantlin, which has the magic armor and silver shield, so...
So everything available to Jaylow once he does a gold grind.
Yep. If he can find a place to do a gold grind.
Yeah, in the meantime, he can pick up a little bit of gold and at least get a hand axe, which will be more than enough for the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the hand axe, not typically a weapon you think of when playing the game casually. I always went from the copper sword straight to the broadsword myself, but the way Randomizer is structured, the hand axe is actually pretty useful in the early game if you can get it quickly.
Seawolf has made it for his flame sword.
Okay, that was interesting. He said no the first time. There
Just
we go.
getting ahead of himself.
Yes. He was like, you know what, I kind of like this axe, actually. Oh, there we go. Seawolf also finally donning his dragon scale.
Seawolf donned his scale?
Yes.
Okay. McGrew saying Jaylow picked up the scale as well, but he doesn't think he equipped it yet.
Yeah, I didn't see one way or the other myself.
Fortunately, we can always find out later when the players inevitably check their stats. We can see if they line up.
Yep. Seawolf finding out the hard way that Druins also have Dragon Lord Breath.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty decent amount of enemies with Hurtmore / Dragon Lord Breath in this seed, it seems like.
And Jaylow also electing not to walk through the swamp cave. It makes more sense when they already have keys. It's less likely to need to find your way through to Grinham or Tentagel, but still, I am
Right.
curious what's on the other end. Look at all these caves!
In this case, I know Seawolf, at least, has actually already found Garenham and what's in there, I believe. So.
Right.
Also, Drolls, also with Dragon Lord Breath.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Both players synchronized. They were exactly synchronized in their last death, and they're synchronized in this death as well.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, Seawolf, I bet, is at level 5. Let me just check next time he
is.
encounters an enemy.
He is. He did reach level 5, yep.
There we go. Jaylow will be there shortly, as soon as he finds something he can kill.
Which I don't think that Wolf Lord is going to do it.
It'll be a great grind zone later, but for now, not quite able to make use of it. He's gonna go for the miracle shot here, and he's got a chance. But there's Hurtmore.
Nope, there's the Hurtmore.
So yeah, the Seawolf with a Flame Sword now going to town on Druin Lords. Lots more options open to him. He already reaches level 6 with that battle. And 0 power.
I love it! So I'm going to try to fight this Spectre. See how that goes for him. Oh, he should be able to do it.
So yeah, it took a while for Seawolf to get that Flame Sword, but right now it is paying off. He's now in a definitely superior position.
Yes. Oh, Spectres have heal. That's not great, so he opts to run away. Meanwhile, Jaylow in the tablet cave here. Let's see what that yields for him.
Hypothetically, if Erdrick's sword were in here, that would equalize everything.
That would be pretty huge. But let's see what's actually here.
Torch.
It's Torch. Not quite Erdrick's sword. See, Magic Wyverns have the Hurt spell, which could be good to know later on. Depending on how late Hurtmore is incoming. Of course, if you do get Hurtmore, you're going to want to use that on Magic Wyverns. Hurtmore is actually a very, very useful spell in Randomizer, especially if you can get it early. In Vanilla Dragon Warrior, Hurtmore really pretty useless, because by the time you get it, you've already got pretty much the best everything, and you're going to either be killing everything in one hit as it is, or anything you'd want to use it on, kind of resistant to Hurtmore. But in Randomizer, if you can get Hurtmore early, that is huge. That lets you kill a lot of things that you would not normally be able to kill, such as Magic Wyverns, for instance.
Yeah, for those who don't speedrun Dragon Warrior 1, Hurtmore's use will come in handy when you choose a name that is not the best strength HP name, and you actually need more than level 19 to be comfortable against the Dragon Lord. Then it helps speed up the leveling process drastically.
Yes, indeed.
I know the first time I killed the Dragon Lord, I was in the 20s. I would assume somewhere around level 22 or 23.
Yeah, I tended to get to about 20 or 20, well, at least, yeah, probably 21, 22 when playing casually. You see, Jaylow actually found Swamp Cave North and went through it, which is interesting because I believe he already knew where South was, so...
And now going through the tablet cave to get that torch.
Oh. So close to 25 minutes in here, we still are looking for the two kind of big dungeons, I believe, the Mountain Cave and Garen's Grave, correct?
Yep. Yeah, neither player's found either one yet.
Okay.
And Jaylow's still not far behind at all, despite not having a major weapon. But that could all change as Seawolf is suddenly comfortable fighting Wolf Lords, which are just a great mid-game grind enemy. Early mid-game.
Yes, indeed. You can get them out of the way in 2 or 3 attacks. That is pretty huge.
Seawolf going for the miracle kill. I'm not sure if he had an herb or not, but it was very unlikely he'd get the kill there after only doing 10 damage on the first attack.
Yeah, that first hit meant it was probably not going to end well for him.
And yet another synchronized death from both players.
Indeed.
They may be making the seed look a little bit more brutal than it actually is. They have plenty of gold, plenty of options. They're not really locked. They've just had a few unfortunate battles on their exploration.
I would have to agree with that. This is definitely not the most difficult seed I have seen in terms of beginnings. Especially now that Seawolf did do that slow grind for the Flame Sword. Which, he's actually got quite a few. Yeah. For the most part, it's, oh, speaking of things we haven't found yet, there's Garen's Grave. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, this is not the most difficult beginning I have seen. We're beginning the early mid-game. We still haven't seen any... I think so far the strongest enemies we've seen are maybe Magiwyverns or Demon Knights?
Right.
Maybe Axe Knights. I think we might have seen some Axe Knights, but, you know, no red dragons, no armored knights. Granting, a lot of things here do seem to have Hurt More and or Dragon Lord breath, but...
So Seawolf finding Garen's Grave first, we can argue that a definite edge is starting to emerge, although so far still nothing vital found in there, but there are 2 chests to go.
Right, right. And if for some reason he dies before he makes it all the way down to the other 2 chests there, depending on what some of these lower floors yield, that might bring up an interesting decision for him of whether to kind of be stubborn and see what's in those last 2 chests or try exploring something else and kind of gambling that way, seeing what else is in the world, if you will.
Also opens up the opportunity for an immediate gold grind, and even though he hasn't found Cantland, he'll be able to make use of it for armor.
It's very true. But, so far, these enemies, so far pretty generous, very beatable here, I would have to say. Chest number 1 in the lower levels is a corset.
Oh, I think... Oh, never mind. I thought for a second there that Seawolf lost his way, but that exit also works.
Yes. That exit does work, although I don't know if it's faster or slower to take that one, but yeah, that one does work as well. I kind of found that one out the hard way one time.
I assume it's slower because I've never seen anyone use it, but you never know. Could even be the same. I know
Right,
there's...
that is true.
I know there's a duplicate route in the bottom floor of the mountain cave that's exactly the same.
Yep. Successfully runs from that draw, and let's see what the last chest is. And it's the starting gold chest, so let's see what he opts to do here. Interesting. He's apparently opting out of the gold grind for the moment.
Could be waiting until he's found the location of a silver shield, and then he can use the mountain cave, which now, having found no vital items, is almost certainly going to be necessary. So he can wait until he goes in there. Makes perfect sense.
Yes, I do. I think I do agree with that play, not doing the gold grind yet, because he has the flame sword. As you say, I don't think he knows that there is the silver shield or magic armor available. So yeah, no reason to do an immediate gold grind. And as you say, he's probably going to have to go into the mountain cave, so he can opt to wait and do it then. Seawolf here, only 12 experience from his next level.
And Jaylow, could Jaylow be making the same move, opting for the flame sword? Anything's possible.
I'm wondering this myself here. If he's... It certainly looks like he's doing a slow gold grind up to something. Don't know exactly what yet. He also trying to replenish his herbs at the same time? Don't know that he's found the flame sword. I can't imagine that he's going to try and gold grind all the way up to the silver shield, or heaven forbid shield plus armor here, but...
Right, but he has found Cantlin, and that means almost every option is going to be available. I know the magic armor's in there.
Right, yeah, we've seen the armor and the shield there. I don't know that we saw the flame sword there necessarily, but... Meanwhile here, Seawolf has now reached level 7. Got various new spells, but no Hurtmore yet. Although this does not appear to be a seed where that necessarily matters too much just yet. And Jaylow is still doing the slow grind, so we'll see where he ends up here.
Oh wow, werewolves. Yet another enemy with Dragonlord breath. No, sprites will not be randomized in the next update. Well, unless Magru makes that decision, but the number one major factor for the next update, which would not happen until after this tournament, is the reintegration of the silver harp, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, I agree that makes the randomizer a bit more Dragon Warrior-like, but we'll have to see how I actually feel about it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But anyway, we should talk a little bit about, in case you aren't familiar with the original Dragon Warrior for whatever reason, which if not, then, you know, hello, I'm not totally sure what you're doing watching a Dragon Warrior randomizer tournament in that case, but just in case. Basically, there are 3 items our players are going to be looking for that are absolutely 100% necessary to beat the game, which are the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and the Erdrick's Token. And then they will trade the staff and the stones for something called the Rainbow Drop, which will basically allow them to access the final dungeon. Beat the game. And in addition to that, there are 2 other items that, while not strictly necessary from a programming standpoint, are what I call practically necessary if you want to beat the game in any kind of reasonably quick fashion. And those are Erdrick's Sword and Erdrick's Armor. The sword is the most powerful weapon in the game by a decent chunk. It gives 40 power, which the next strongest weapon, the flame sword, gives 28, so it's a nice attack boost there. And then the Erdrick's Armor basically makes you immune to damage tiles, weakens breath weapons, weakens spells, and lets you recover HP with every step you take. So again, not strictly necessary, but practically so if you want to beat this seed in any, reasonably quick fashion.
So Jaylow, opting for a full combo with his gold, has now gotten a broadsword, full plate, and large shield. Definitely better equipped for battle now.
Yes, that's I do like that play as well, actually. The as you were just mentioning before we went live here with the race, the broadsword is actually pretty strong in itself. And the full complement of armor there will definitely help him out in terms of survivability. So it looks like the coordinates are 3 north, 25 west, was it?
Yep. Very close by. People are saying that Seawolf went the wrong direction. Yeah, he's going east
Yeah, he's
instead of
definitely
west.
going. He's definitely going east. So. Yep. He is not going to be happy when he completes this walk and finds nothing. We were discussing this earlier that screwing up the coordinates in some way. It sucks when you do it, but at the same time, it's something that's happened to lots of people, lots of times. So.
Yes, indeed.
That was in our race last night. I actually raced my co-commentator here in this tournament last night, and that was actually one of the two kind of big mistakes that I made. And honestly, just because it's something that happens so often to so many people, I'm not that hung up on that particular mistake. There was another I made that I think was the one that actually probably cost me the race. But that said, it is no fun to try and to get to where you think you are, only to search and find nothing, and then wonder what the heck you did wrong. Fortunately, here it looks like Seawolf has gotten himself burned the right way. Yep, he should be close. Let's see. There it is, and the item is the fairy flute. Okay. So the fairy flute puts golems to sleep, which is mainly useful if you encounter one kind of on the overworld, or I suppose if it's a mini-boss in either Hawksness or guarding the Dragon Lord, and you need to fight it the one time. Honestly, any golem configuration that is going to be worth grinding on is probably not going to be worth using the fairy flute on.
Generally not. It does happen sometimes, but it's fairly uncommon that fighting a golem on the overworld is advantageous. But it does happen sometimes.
Right. Normally on the overworld, you would use it to put it to sleep and then immediately run away. Jaylow7, there's a guy in Cantlin, which probably may not mean much to you, but it's one of the towns in the game. And he's always in the same place, so you go talk to that guy, and he says, "Thou may go and search. From the castle, travel here and here." And those coordinates are where your item will be.
So in this case, he said travel 3 north and 25 west from the castle. That's the reference.
Yeah. And thankfully this time it was pretty close to the castle and the path, pretty straightforward. There are times when you will get some ridiculous coordinates and, the map layout will just not make it worth it to count out manually. And then in that case, what you do is you go save the princess, and she gives you basically a compass. The actual name of the item is Gwaylin's Love. Her name is Gwaylin, but we like to call it Princess GPS.
And I think this is another new town for Seawolf.
I believe so as well. And yes, Renopolis is correct. In the original game, it's always the same item, and it's always in the same place. In the randomizer, it can be anywhere, and it can be one of 3 different items. Is it 3? Yes, 3. It can be Erdrick's Armor, Erdrick's Token, or the Fairy Flute. Yes, that is also true, Pyrelight. More specifically, it's not just necessarily a unique necessary item, it is the token that will always be in a chest, I believe. In that case.
Seawolf appears to have sold off most of his inventory just for space. He's now buying herbs, which of course are stored separately and don't take up one of those 8 item spaces. He definitely sold more than he needed to. So it was a bit of a surprise. He doesn't need torches anymore, he has Radiant, so that's not a concern.
Alright, although usually for the end game I will keep a torch or two in my inventory just in case. Because I'm not yet cool enough to go through Charlock blind, or in the dark.
And I still prefer to use a torch at the end, even if I can go blind.
Right. So in that instance, if using a Radiant will drop me 1 hurt more, I'll usually opt to use the torch instead. Or not hurt more, heal more.
Right. So yeah, even though both players have been able to pick up a lot from their gold grinding, the seed is still slightly restrictive. Both players not being able to explore too far, and you can see Jaylow's only gotten 95 experience in 40 minutes. It sounds terrible, but both players are still very close together.
Yeah, in percentage terms, it looks like Seawolf is way ahead here in terms of the experience. And I guess in percentage terms he is, but 400 experience is not actually a whole lot, especially as you get toward the ending game. So, I think it might just come down to who finds the mountain cave first, because as you said, we have the mountain cave, and have we seen both shrine caves? I don't remember.
Just one.
I've seen one of them,
yeah.
I believe, yeah.
So Jaylow finds coal, and the armor spot has Erdrick's token.
Erdrick's token, okay.
I should say the flute spot.
Yep.
I'm just gonna ask you straight up, Empty Eye, is that Mrs. Empty Eye actually in the chat?
Yes, hello, hon.
Awesome.
That is the actual Mrs. Empty Eye. She is sitting about 10 feet away from me as we speak.
Very awesome. Hello, Mrs. Empty Eye.
Yep.
The token is just one of the 3 items you need to pick up to in order to obtain the rainbow drop, which is the item that you need in order to enter the final castle of the game. So it is a necessary item to pick up.
Yeah, the token in the story of Dragon Warrior, the token is basically the item that proves you are in fact the descendant of the legendary hero. Because apparently acquiring trinkets makes you a descendant in the world of Dragon Warrior. I'm not sure genealogy works that way, but you know, we'll go with it.
Meanwhile, Jaylow has come across the mountain cave, which is again a very important equalizer, having also found coal. We've already established that at least one and probably both of the Stones of Sunlight and Staff of Rain are going to be in this mountain cave, so Jaylow could have a tremendous advantage here. Definitely an equalizer in proportion to the experience he's behind.
Indeed, indeed. We'll have to see what's in some of these chests here. It's almost certainly that one of the 2 items is going to be there. It's very probable, I believe, that both of them are going to be there, because we've seen what's in Garenham.
And Remolder. I think the only one left is the Stones of Sunlight cave.
I believe you're right, yeah. Jaylow now reaching level 6.
Oops.
See what's in the second floor of the mountain cave here.
Using great discipline, running away from those wolf lords, just trying to get the last of the chests. And again,
just trying to get the chest.
there's the Stones of Sunlight.
Let's see what's over here. And the Erdrick's
Oh,
sword.
wow.
That is huge.
So I would argue, like, I would expect Jaylow to take a tremendous lead once he's out of this cave. He can also choose to gold grind for the silver shield, which I assume he's going to do because he knows where Cantland is.
Yes. He might actually gold grind for both that and the magic armor, although he did purchase full plate, correct?
Yes. But
Yeah.
Seawolf has just found the mountain cave himself. Now, if the Staff of Rain is not in this last chest, that's going to be interesting. It's going to mean both players are going to need to find the Stones of Sunlight cave eventually.
Yes. Wow, that is a giant agility boost on that level. Wolf, that was a 25 agility.
There's the
And
Staff
the
of
last
Rain.
chest is the Staff of Rain, so they're both going to be very happy once they're done here.
Of course, the Rainbow Drop Cave itself still does need to be found, so exploration isn't over yet. One player did check the Remolder chest. Only the Stones of Sunlight chest hasn't been checked, but I think there's nothing left. I think everything else has been found, except for, I guess, the Fighter's Ring.
Alright, Fighter's Ring, and I guess the armor has to be in Hawksness, right? Wherever...
Yeah,
Have they
now...
found Hawksness yet? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if either player has found Hawksness, but yeah, now that Cole has been found, the armor has to be there.
And yeah, as Pyrolite says, I believe the Jerk Cave was in Garenham. Now...
Oh, there we go. That's right, I did mention that. That's right, I just forgot. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Now that said, if you forgot where it is, it's very possible that one of the two of them also forgot where it is.
Well, I already played a seed before this, so I could always be
Very
jumbling
true.
them together. Erdrick's sword for Seawolf as well.
Let's see where Seawolf is going here. I think he just took a bit of a wrong turn there. Yep, he realized it. He's going the right way now. He's gonna run from that. Yep. Use an herb, very smart. And yes, Jaylow is doing the gold grind now, presuming he's gonna go buy the silver shield. Don't know if he'll opt to go all the way to the magic armor or not. The magic armor does not actually provide any more defense than the full plate, although it does cut the damage that Hurt More can do, which in this seed might actually be useful. And then it also restores 1 hit point for every 4 steps that you take.
Yeah, in a seed like this, I would be compelled to pick up magic armor from a gold grind that I'm going to do anyway for the silver shield if I don't have Hurt More yet or something like that. This is one of those situations I wouldn't be at all surprised if either player were to do that.
Right. But, I would not be surprised at all to see maybe Seawolf do that. Although, has Seawolf found Cantland yet?
I'm not sure.
Yes, he has, because he got the coordinates and he got the token.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it, because I don't think he has full plate, whereas Jaylow does, but it does look like he's going all the way up to magic armor here. He's at 18,000 gold about, and he's still going, so I imagine he's going to opt for both items there.
22,500 is the minimum, probably go slightly over that.
No. Yep, he's going to probably grab one more, yep. I know he's herb grinding here, or bamboo pole grinding, if you will. Because of the way the gold glitch works, it does, if you do... Well, let me start over. I guess the gold glitch would more accurately be called a chest glitch. We call it the gold glitch because its biggest use tends to be to grab gold from the same chest over and over and over. But it is more accurately probably a chest glitch. And basically, because of the way it works, what happens is if you do a chest glitch and the chest you are doing it on has an item, it will scramble the item text basically into something different. Here you saw a bamboo pole. Sometimes you'll get completely strange things like axe ghosts or harp magicians. Harp knight is one I've seen. Sword magidrak is one I've gotten as well. So in that case, what you do is you grab the item and you check your inventory to see what the item actually is.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any consistent way to predict what you got based on the text you saw, so you always have to check.
Yes, indeed. So at this point, even though he's a level behind, I would almost argue that Jaylow is ahead just because he has kind of the superior equipment, and he's going to pick up some even more superior equipment here with the Silver Shield and whatnot.
Right, he's found coal for the token, and in addition, he's going to have max equipment for getting Erdrick's armor shortly. And it's just a matter of finding Hawksness. So Jaylow in a great position is going to be able to fight almost anything, and is going to be ready for, especially having heal more, is going to be ready for a very favorable outcome in Hawksness, and possibly even be ready to grind right away.
Right, depending on what is there and what the enemy is, what it has. Yeah, that might not be a terrible idea. That's interesting, Firelight.
McGrew, do you know what it is? Like, that's a good explanation for what happens with the text in chest glitches, but do you know why the first time you take a chest, it occasionally gives you something different than what it'll give you subsequently if you continue to grind on it? I suppose it just has to do with resetting to a new memory address. So, like, you might start with a Harp Knight and then get bamboo poles after that. But if that happens, it'll stay on bamboo poles.
Yeah, it is interesting. That does kind of make sense, although I'm guessing the number at that point is just kind of pointing at a text string or, an address and saying count this many characters.
Right.
Count out this many characters from start here and go, 7 characters or whatever, let's say. Kind of like how if anyone here is familiar with Die Hard percent in Final Fantasy IV, how the ability you ultimately end up using to win the game is quote-unquote upped-co, because it's basically just finding where it thinks the text for that ability should be and counting out 6 characters.
And Seawolf just used Sleep on a Wraith Knight. That's something you don't see every day. It wasn't necessary to kill him because he was already in range. He got him in one hit, but he might not have known that based on the damage he did in the first round.
Right. And that did give him level 9. And so he does have still the experience advantage. Going to use his last herb there. That is something else to note, is that herbs are very useful, especially if you're low on MP or you don't get heal or heal more for quite a while. Once you decide you want to explore, you definitely want to grab some herbs and use those as you're healing, either in battle or out of battle, to make sure that you can explore as far as you can. Jaylow taking out that Druid Lord. Now you can kill Druid Lords. Yeah, Drolls have their uses, but Drolls are some of the most inefficient enemies to kill experience-wise. Spectres are actually another enemy that is very inefficient relative to their hit points to experience ratio, if you will.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, I fought a few, I think at level 4 in our race last night, and I was doing somewhere around like 4 or 5 damage max per attack. I am sometimes very happy to find Drolls, and I was very happy to fight them last night. People were telling me you were killing Magicians in 2 hits when I was killing Drolls in over 10 hits, and I was still happy with my decision.
Yeah, I was... Like I said, I did manage to... I don't think I found an early hand axe, but I did manage to get a copper sword and leather armor pretty early on, so I was like, okay, that's about as set as I'm going to be, so... And then luckily I found Erdrick's armor pretty early, which it was a long process killing some of those enemies, no doubt, but it definitely did allow me to kill, you know, some things quicker than I would have. And here we see the Seawolf has found the other, the Stones of Sunlight cave, and there's just some gold in there.
Okay, so that's everything. That means the Fighter's Ring is in Charlock.
Indeed it is. So is Jaylow? Yes, he's gonna try to fight this wizard, apparently.
One last heal more.
Yep.
21, so possibly 2 attacks here,
yeah,
and he only needed the
attacks,
1.
He should be able to do it. Oh, there he goes. Yep. So that'll be a nice experience boost for him.
For level 8. There's that 25 response speed.
That giant agility boost. So yes, you're right. That does mean the Fighter's Ring is in Charlock. The Fighter's Ring is basically in the original Dragon Warrior, it's bugged. It does absolutely nothing. In Randomizer, its intended functionality has been restored. It's basically the offensive counterpart to the Dragon Scale. The Dragon Scale gives a permanent +2 defense. The Fighter's Ring gives +2 attack. And +2 attack does not sound like a lot, but that can be the difference, especially in the end game, between, you know, a Dragon Lord victory and a Dragon Lord loss, or, you know, a comfortable victory versus it coming way down to the wire with your last attack. So the Fighter's Ring, I have to imagine, depending on what their attack power is like or how early they decide to dive into Charlock, I have to imagine both players will probably at least check the basement, the Charlock treasury for the Fighter's Ring. It's actually interesting that in Randomizer you do a decent chunk of the time end up going into that treasury either to try to find the Fighter's Ring or Erdrick's sword, because I had actually completely forgotten that was even there. Until one time when Ness, I was watching you in a Randomizer race, and I think you hadn't found Erdrick's sword yet, and you went right past where the sword normally is, and I was like, what is he doing? Where's he going? Why is he not getting the sword? And I was like, oh right, there's all these other chests that nobody ever checks because they're, you know, it's a bunch of useless stuff in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that
like an herb, a cursed belt, and then like some gold or something like that.
And wings, it's pretty cool that the Taz actually uses that room to collect the wings.
Oh, is that where it does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. I haven't watched the Taz in a while, so...
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I played a randomizer and I had either Erdrick's sword or the fighter's ring left to go, and they ended up being in that sword chest. It just seems to happen unusually often that they're in one of the 6 chests in the basement. I mean, more often than 6 out of 7. And I think that's just short-term variance. I mean, it's not like I've played hundreds of seeds. I may not have even played 100 yet. Probably just over 100, but nothing major for a statistical sample.
Right. Meantime here, Jaylow has found Hawk's Nest, so we're going to see what the enemy is here, presumably. If he can make it over there. He has no MP, though, which is not great, so I imagine he's just going to kind of take a look here, see what the enemy actually is. And it is an Armored Knight, our friend the AK-47.
And 2 attacks means it probably doesn't have any special abilities unless it has heal or heal more.
Right. So I imagine he will... Well, he could go try to fight it. Let's see.
Now
he's got his MP back. With only... Yikes, that is not a lot. I just realized they do not have a lot of MP for this point in the game.
Yeah, meanwhile, Seawolf has found Cole and picked up the token. So, Jaylow only has Hawksness ahead of Seawolf right now.
Yes.
And McGrew got a peek at Jaylow's defense. It sounds like he has equipped the Dragon Scale, so we'll add that.
Yes, indeed.
It's interesting to note, Jaylow, despite being a level behind, has a major defensive advantage because of the magic armor as compared to the leather armor, and the silver shield as compared to the large shield.
Yes, so that is definitely helping him out here as well, as even though he is a level behind, as you said, I think it could almost be argued that he might still be slightly ahead, and that especially goes if he does decide to, he's still a little bit low on MP here and whatnot, but if he does, you know, make kind of some sort of miracle run to Hawksness and he picks up the armor here, that would almost definitely give him an advantage here. Yeah, I didn't either, Pyrelight, until Jaylow came back from that death, and I noticed he only had 25 MP.
I was surprised Jaylow didn't fight that Wolf Lord outside of Tentagel. That would have put him 1 enemy away from the next level. Very, very close.
Mm. Nice power boost there from level 10. Actually, a pretty solid level overall. Let's see what his spell is. It is not hurt more. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, Wolf Lords have Dragon Lord Breath. Seawolf has reached level 10 now. Oh wow, Jaylow is already defense-breaking wizards at level 8. That's hilarious.
Yeah, this is a very defense-heavy seed, although the fact that he does have the magic armor and silver shield certainly also helps in that regard. So...
Can't blame Seawolf for avoiding the gold grind. I think he's just going to end up going with a large shield, which I don't think will be a problem given the way this is progressing so far.
Yeah, given how high the defense, how high the agility is so far, I think I agree with you. And
Yeah, this is a nice mid-range seed. No hurt more early on, but all the obtainable items were fairly easily gettable in the early levels. and it's just a matter of putting them to good use.
Yes, indeed. Son of Orpheus, it's someone McGrew might have the more technical explanation, but the kind of layman's terms is basically the game uses two different formulas for determining damage. And basically, once your defense gets above a certain point, and that point is different for each enemy, but once your defense gets above a certain point, it basically switches from the first damage formula to the second damage formula. And the second damage formula is one that's basically the enemy does way less damage than with the first damage formula on average.
Right, and if you're just broaching the point, it can still it can still use both formulas for the same enemy, even in one battle. So you will frequently see an enemy do somewhere around 13 or 14 damage to you, and then on another attack it'll do 1 or 2 because it's done a lower amount, and that lower amount is further lowered in the calculation in the second agility formula. So we call it defense breaking because there's a very visible break, a very visible difference between the two. And Mr. Holmes has a more complete description in chat there.
Yep, there it is. And now Seawolf has also now found Hawksness. See what he opts to do here.
With plenty of MP, there's no question he'll be able to beat the Armored Knight. Although his defense is lower, he might have to use a few extra heal mores. If the Armored Knight does, yeah. Oh, okay, he has more HP than I thought.
He does have, yep.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
So he'll get the armor first, and Jaylow won't be far behind.
Yes. Yes. If presuming he doesn't have and he's got baby fire as well. So that's
That'll be really good for the inevitable grind, which both players will almost certainly do in Hawksness.
Yes. I would have to think so. He has 2 more heal mores now. Last one, you should get 2 more attacks here, though. At least. And there he goes. Feeds the Armored Knight. So he's going to pick up Erdrick's armor there. He's going to be very happy with that.
A 24 defense power increase from leather armor.
Yes, indeed. That is quite a lot.
And already you can see he's choosing to try and pick off a second Armored Knight. Doesn't quite get it.
No, doesn't get it. I'm wondering if he was just kind of... I wonder if it was one of those where he was kind of trying to suicide back to Tantagel, but, you know, if he happens to pick off the Armored Knight, well, hey, that's cool, too.
Right. So eventually both players will pick up the Rainbow Drop from Garinham, and then probably grind in Hawksness.
I would think so. They're both, there's still not a lot of MP to be found here, so I would have to think, yeah, they're going to hang out in Hawksness for a while before trying to see what's in Charlock, especially since the main thing left in there now is the Fighter's Ring.
So a slightly slower seed than average perhaps, but no major difficulties. A nice start with the hurt spell, lots of enemies to pick off, and then early on there was no complexity whatsoever in finding all the major locations, both players already acquiring everything.
Yes. RCT mid, Jaylow has the silver shield, and Seawolf only has the large shield. And Jaylow also has the magic armor. The Erdrick's armor is not actually that big of a absolute defense boost over the magic armor. It's big. The other properties are why you really want / need the Erdrick's armor. The reduction of breath attacks and the, being able to walk over damage tiles and the healing per step.
Exactly. Even without the healing, if the magic armor did those other two things, I guarantee you we'd see a ton of seeds where no one got Erdrick's armor.
Yes, indeed. The breath reduction is probably the biggest thing, honestly, I would say.
Right. It makes it essentially necessary for a race.
Yeah. Yes, basically the Dragon Lord 2 will always have either a 50% chance of attacking or a 50% chance of using Dragon Lord Breath. And if it uses Dragon Lord Breath with Erdrick's armor, it can do 42, 44, 46, or 48 damage. Without Erdrick's armor, as you've seen, it's in the upper 60s to lower 70s for damage. So, you know, without that damage reduction, you would have to grind for a long while or just hope for a very high HP seed. So, Seawolf has found Sharlock, and I'm not exactly sure he's just doing a little dance there in the entrance.
Yeah, I wonder what he's thinking about right now. He may have had to step away from the computer for one reason or another.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what happened. Some kind of real-life obligation here.
We've seen a lot of close races in this tournament already, but fortunately I've never seen someone lose as the result of having to pause for any amount of time.
Right. Meanwhile, Seawolf here going to level 11. Nice MP boost, finally, with that level.
Finally.
Rest of it kind of to be honest, but still no hurt more. I am a little bit surprised that he is apparently trying to grind here in Sharlock as opposed to in Hawk's Nest, although maybe he's just trying to figure out what kind of the enemy layout is here.
Giving Stop Spell a shot on a red dragon. I don't know if they have any spells yet, and he might not either. It didn't work the first time, and the dragon did attack, so bad odds right now. It looks like it's just an attacking.
It's 2 attacks. I can't imagine. If it has anything, it might just be heal or heal more. But
Stop Spell with a very high success rate on red dragons when they do have spells.
yes.
As we discovered last night.
Yes, I think you and I both grinded on red dragons for what seemed like an hour. I don't know exactly how long I did, but it was a lot of red dragons I killed, and I think I failed 1 stop spell in all of that time. So
On one, I failed 2 in a row, and I think other than that, I think it was just 1 or 2 more.
yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure it was just the single red dragon I failed it on once, because I remember it, like, shocked me that it said the spell had no effect. It like, kind of got me out of that, you know, you kind of go into that grinding coma for a while.
Yep, so that's a pretty good sample size.
Autopilot, like, it shocked me out of that, like, oh, wait a minute, Okay, so Pyrolite raising a good point. That in addition to the low MP, it seems like Hawksness is kind of far away from everything else, that does make sense given that both players found it fairly late.
A very valid consideration for these kinds of situations.
Yes. Especially with enemies like wizards here, sometimes just kind of hanging out in the overworld. Wizards, axe knights, things you would probably grind on anyway in Sharlock, so.
Still only 1 level between them. It is 1100 experience, so it is significant at this point. And I don't think Jaylow's got an Erdrick's armor yet.
I don't think so either. I think he just made the one attempt at Hawksness, and then you know that didn't work out for him because he had no MP, and so. Well, it's kind of interesting that he tried to run away from the Armor Knight. I might have just taken a crack at it, hoped for the miracle excellent hit at that point. Although I don't know that it would have been enough to kill it anyway. You see, Stonemen have Sleep, which is interesting. And Hurt More, okay. I'm not sure if both players are just kind of grinding in this area. What is okay? So it looks like okay. So it looks like Seawolf is making another run to Charlock here. We're gonna do some more grinding there.
As for Jaylow, I'm not exactly sure where Hawksness is, but I have to think he's on his way over there.
Yeah, I would hope that's kind of where he's going. Because hopefully he knows now for a fact that's where the armor is.
Yeah, he's been to Cole and Cantlin, and he's also opened, I believe, every chest in the game.
I believe so as well, yes.
So, as for their target level, we never know until we actually see it what the target level they want to reach is, because the stat growths are randomized for each individual seed. Fortunately, both players will get the same growth, and they will also get the same final HP on the Dragon Lord.
Yep.
I had 2 seeds where I had to go to level 21 before I could beat the Dragon Lord. And I've had a few where I could go as early as level 14. Jay Coper, in his race, either yesterday or the day before, actually was able to go at level 13, and that was nice to see. It's the only time I've ever seen level 13.
Oh. Yes, indeed. Pyrolite gave some, you know, some guidelines there, but frankly, figuring out when to go after the Dragon Lord is kind of more art than science. But those are good guidelines, a good starting point. And, you know, depending on some of your other stats or those stats, you can definitely adjust any one of those up or down a few points, depending on what your other two are. If you have a high enough HP, you can definitely go at a little bit less attack power if you have enough HP and MP. Like, I think I went at either 123 or 125 last night for my attack power, just because I had so much HP and MP.
Right, and it was 123 for me at the previous level, with the Fighter's Ring.
Right, okay, so yeah, so I was 125 in that case.
And then the 97 HP mark, if you go with less than 97 HP, you run the risk of taking a Dragon Lord breath and not being able to attack safely before heal mooring. So if you have less than 97 HP, it is still possible to go, but in general you need exponentially more heal moors in order to make it safe.
Yes, indeed.
I did go with, I think it was 93 HP once, maybe even 91, because I had an abundance of heal moors and high defense power. So, and I was successful. I did a good math calculation, and I did win. So,
nice.
Anything's possible. There are no absolutes with the 3 ranges. Any one stat can vastly offset the other 2. I can tell you I've gone with as low as 121 attack power and as high as, I think there was one seed where we couldn't go until we reached a level that gave us 150 something. And then I actually beat the Dragon Lord with a broadsword because of that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, we've had, there have definitely been seeds where the attack power has been so high where, you know, I mentioned Erdrick's sword is a practically necessary item, which is true in most seeds, but there have been seeds where the strength gains have been so absurdly high that it turns out to not actually be a necessary item.
Agility I've gone as high as 110 and as low as in the 70s when there were no red dragons in all of Sharlock. And HP, I already mentioned, sometimes it grows to much larger towards the end, and you know, when you have more than, say, 120 HP, there's a much larger chance that you'll be able to get double attacks in between heal mores, and that can allow you to go much sooner.
Yes, that is definitely something to take into account, as I found out last night. But fortunately, that was not what cost me that race. And so, you know, I'm happy to learn that in that circumstance, that, oh, okay, yeah, HP actually more helpful than you realize at first. Because you and I were discussing that, how we both did that that kind of quick on-the-fly math at level 20, and neither one of us actually liked where we ended up. And then you were the one to actually realize, oh, we'll actually get quite a few double attacks in with this HP range.
Right.
So I actually went at 21 last night, but as we mentioned, you were already ahead of me at that point anyway. That's not why I lost that race.
Right. So as has been mentioned, the experience gap has narrowed a little bit. Now it's only about 550. And Jaylow is again about to equalize in levels with the victory over this wizard.
Yes, indeed. Well, there's in addition to that, I actually did write a bit of a tutorial for the actual basic strategy of the randomizer because, you know, a lot of the advanced stuff, if you will, you know, when to go after the Dragon Lord, kind of how long to grind at the start, when to explore, when to try different approaches. That's kind of the stuff you can only get by just kind of getting in reps and playing various randomizer seeds. But in my opinion, the basics, it's actually quite easy to pick up, especially if you're familiar with the original Dragon Warrior. And in the meantime here, now that Jaylow does have hurt more at level 12, he is going to go after this Armored Knight. He's going to get Erdrick's armor.
And both players appear to be here to grind with Hurtmore. Of course, Jaylow won't be able to stay long, but he'll certainly be back.
Right, we'll see what...
So yeah, Erdrick's armor is only 4 extra defense power over the full plate or the magic armor. As MTI already said, its biggest deal is saving you from damage tiles, damage barriers in Sharlock, and also, of course, protection from fire breath. You take 33% less damage.
Yes, and that 33% is quite
monumentally huge.
Yes. That is, you know, about 20 to 25 damage per Dragon Lord breath there that you're not taking, so... So in other news, I have a co-commentator here. Mario the cat has curled up on my lap. He's chilling here.
Always a nice visitor.
Want to say hi?
Oh, now he's going to be shy. Okay.
Aw, I was hoping. So Jaylow with this suicide will refill MP, and we'll see if he wants to make the walk back to Hawksness or to grind in Sharlock. Toasted Zergling, it would... I mean, there would have to be a number of factors. You'd need monumental HP and agility. MP is not enough on its own, because if you can't... Like, if you heal more and then you take 60 or 70 damage, you're often going to have to heal more again, so MP in itself is not going to be enough of a factor unless you have literally hundreds of MP. It's going to require high HP and high defense for the event where the Dragon Lord actually attacks you a few times in a row to compensate for taking that huge damage.
Right. As well as Son of Orpheus says, the various barriers on the way to the Dragon Lord there in the first floor of Sharlock that you have to get through.
Right, the HP will help you with that, and then if you have magic armor, you will heal gradually as you go downstairs.
Yes.
So as we near the end game of this, well, we're already in the start of the end game, the final grind before the Dragon Lord. The only question that remains to be seen is how large the random stat growths are going to be, how what the minimum level is going to be. And I'll try and give you as accurate an analysis as I can for which level is going to be the minimum for approach, assuming neither player wants to risk going with Hurtmores.
Yes, that is true. Can certainly try to gamble with that, but other than that, yeah, we'll see what the minimum is here, and we'll see if if someone thinks they're behind and they decide to right now it's actually still pretty close experience-wise. Now that Seawolf is out of MP, it'll be interesting to see if he makes the walk back to Hawksness or if he decides to grind on top floor of Charlock here. And looks like level 13 does have a giant MP boost there, although still probably not enough to defeat the Dragon Lord at this point.
No, both players... Oh, actually, no, both players have found the Jerk Cave. It's just, I don't believe Jaylow's actually stopped in Gurinham and picked up the Rainbow Drop, but that can happen anytime.
Right.
And
but anyway, what I was going to say is it'll be interesting to see if there's a level that's kind of right on the border or maybe a little below, where if someone, thinking they're behind more so than they actually are, they decide, I think I'm behind, this is not a great shot, but I think I have to, risk risk even if it's a coin flip or a little bit worse than that and just take my shot right now and right here and now on the Dragon Lord.
always an interesting possibility, especially if the player who is actually behind makes that correct assessment and then actually goes in a spot where they're just under 50% to win, but if they get above average damage rolls, they can win.
Yes, it's always interesting, kind of playing when you think you're behind and, doing that sort of mental math and, the first thing you have to correctly assess that you are behind and that you have to take the risk. And then you need kind of the courage of your convictions to actually, once you've made that decision, to actually go with it. Because you basically are accepting that, I know this is not a great shot to win, and if I screw up or if I've made the wrong call, I basically lose here and now, but,
Right.
If you think it's your best chance to win, you pretty much have to take it, even if you don't necessarily like it. And then, of course, it still has to work out for you. Particularly if you're a coin flip or a little bit worse than that. You can make the correct decision in that specific circumstance and still lose, just because the odds are against you.
Jaylow unfortunately made an error with 45 MP left, dying to an Armored Knight in Hawksness.
So it looks like Seawolf is going to try to...
It's a shame that happened too, because Seawolf is now in Charlock, and that Armored Knight being such a perfect scenario right now, I think that if Jaylow hadn't died there, it would have really narrowed that 1200 experience gap.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it really would have. So Seawolf here is trying to run from this red dragon, which I guess is the smart move, seeing as all it seems to do is hit really hard. But I would think if you're nowhere close to...
Oh, Seawolf trying a Hurtmore on Red Dragon.
Yeah. I want to point out that wouldn't have saved him, because I don't think he had actually damaged that red dragon, but... So I wonder if he just, misclicked and meant to heal more. We've certainly seen that more than once. But I found it interesting that he wasn't trying to fight those red dragons, even though, they'll hit him hard and quickly drain his MP, but he has to think he's still not particularly close to actually being able to beat the Dragon Lord. He might as well, take the experience, if nothing else. Hi, Sparkover.
Empty Eye says hi. He can hear you.
Okay. Son of Orpheus, the answer is for the most part. Golem has been buffed up, so he has the same HP as in the remakes, so it's in like the 150 range. I want to say Goldmen, oddly, seem to have a lot more health than in the original game.
Yeah, they do.
I'm pretty sure Spectres also have more health than in either the original or the remake for whatever reason.
Star Wyverns also have a noticeable HP boost.
Oh, okay.
There are a number of enemies that are slightly different in the GBC remake, which is where Magru got all the values.
Okay. Jaylow, checking various caves here. I have to wonder if he's forgotten where the jerk cave is, maybe.
Yeah, that was something you predicted very early in this race, and it is actually appearing to happen here. And that's a shame, because I remember a similar thing happened to me once, and it was in Garinham, and I was so confused because I had found all the caves on the map, and I hadn't found Garinham yet, so I'm looking for a cave, and then I come across this town, and I'm like, well, that's not helpful, and then I go in, and I'm like, oh, wait. So yeah, it's possible to forget when you're looking for one cave that it could be in a town, in this case, Garinham.
So. Yeah, I am not exactly sure what Jaylow is doing here. I wonder if he... Okay, he's casting outside. I'm wondering if he just forgot that he had all 3 items, maybe. Because, yeah, he definitely grabbed those 3 chests in the grave, which he had already done, and then he left again. So I'm wondering if he just forgot he had done that.
So the search continues. Again, he might have already realized it's Garinham he's looking for, but either way, there's going to be some walking involved.
Yes.
Only 1,000 between them right now, just over 1,000.
Yep, that is likely to be less than 1 level when all is said and done here, so...
So yeah, if the level gains are small, we could see one of those situations where perhaps Seawolf will misjudge and try and gain another level, or Jaylow will go at a point where he's something like 40% to win and take the risk, and we'll see a very epic finish.
Yes, indeed. Those are always exciting.
I hadn't seen either player settle on a grind spot in a while, but the Seawolf is finally back at Hawksness, and that is going to constitute an advantage, of course, with the lead.
Yes, he was, it did seem like he was, I don't know if it's just because it was a long walk or what, but it did seem like he was kind of grinding on the overworld for a while, which, given some of the enemies we were seeing out there, was actually not a terrible decision with the wizards and whatnot, but yeah, he does seem to have made it back into Hawksness, which is, I guess, the least bad option as of right now, especially now that he does have hurt more.
Meanwhile, Jaylow thankfully finding some decent grind enemies along the way and making use of hurt more for quick kills.
Seawolf getting the level up here. Oh, another big power boost there, and another big MP boost. Very interesting. Let's. I want to take a look at his max HP here. 95. Nope, that's not going to be quite enough, I don't think. I couldn't tell if that said 93 or 98 for his max MP, but either way, I would probably go up 1 more level here. However, I am a bit more notoriously conservative in terms of what I like for beating the Dragon Lord.
I'll check the math here, I'm curious.
Okay. So you see here, Seawolf going for the hurt more followed by the attack, and I know in this card you in the past have advocated when you have an enemy that is that you're going to kill with a hurt more and an attack. I know you've sometimes advocated going for the attack first, just in case you get the excellent hit that you can, you know, save the hurt more. Or
Right, but that strategy, it switches sometimes. Sometimes I like to hurt more and attack instead. And I know there's a reason, it's just escaping me right now, but if I remember it, I'll bring it up again.
well, you can get you know, you can get the excellent move, or you could also get a miss, which might be why, I'm not sure.
So yeah, obviously Hawksness a big advantage, and Seawolf jumping up a bit. It still appears Jaylow's hunting for the Jerk Cave.
Yes, and indeed, like we said, I do wonder if he'll eventually figure out that it's actually not a cave at all. It's in Garenham. I would think he would have to at some point.
Yeah, Garenham was relatively close to Tantagel, so I think it's pretty likely Jaylow's looking on the map for a cave.
There's what we were just talking about, the excellent hit for 103 on that Armored Knight.
So yeah, in this case, if my strategy is to use one attack and one hurt more, I would do the attack first, because the excellent moves are in range of killing it.
No. 172. If he, I think he'll be just short of level 15 here. After,
I think I would elect for hurt more and then attack if excellent moves are out of that range and hurt more actually has a chance of killing the enemy in one hit. Then I want to see if that works first, and if not, the attack will finish it off every time. I think that's what I was thinking of. The Jerk Cave is our amusing term first coined by Sparkover for the Rainbow Drop Cave, because its inhabitant acts like a jerk to you if you can't prove your descendancy by possessing Erdrick's token.
He is a jerk. I actually saw that text for the first time in quite a while recently. Yeah, it is not friendly. He's like, you failed in your quest to get out of here, or something like that.
Yeah, and as Pyrelight just said, if you get the Rainbow Drop and then talk to him again, he'll still just say to you, "You have no business here, go away."
Yeah, although to be fair, the other two, the Stones of Sunlight guy and, well, especially the Staff of Rain guy, I believe is the same way.
Right.
He says something similar, like there's no business for you here now, go, or something like that. And there's level 15, another 7 power. Let's see what we get for HP here. See what Seawolf opts to do here. Okay, he has 98 HP, still only 11 heal mores. Yeah. His power is good, but I'll have to, because you can all see the super cool overlay that we have here, but I can't because I'm not actually watching the race stream. I'm just watching a sort of multi-Twitch deal here.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm just looking at the math now, and it looks pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say his power is good, his HP is good enough.
Yeah, I would 100% go here.
Okay. 136 attack it is, okay. Yeah, so let's see, 136, that's, hold on, let me do some quick math here in my head.
Yep.
That is about 11 to 23 or so that you'd be doing? Is that right?
Oh, his range is 9 to 18.
9 to 18, okay, I have no idea where I got 11 to 23.
So typically 12 attacks to kill the Dragon Lord, and with 11 heal mores, it's pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bet then. I know, where did I have no idea where I got that. Okay, well, whatever.
So for those wondering how to calculate how much damage you can do to the Dragon Lord, take off the 100 from your attack power, and you're left with 36. Divide that by 2 for your maximum attack, and divide it by 4 for your minimum attack. That'll give you your attack range. You can hit any value in between that range. So in this case, the Seawolf can do from 9 to 18, and on average, it's going to take 13 attacks. Or sorry, 12 attacks to kill the Dragon Lord. It could take as many as 13. It could take more than that if he rolls low, but
right.
12 on average. So he's got a very high probability of success. Given that he has a minimum of 97 HP, which he does.
Right.
His defense power is also reasonably high, so Mr. Holmes is mentioning a risk of needing double heal mores. That is a factor, but it's not something that I would be concerned about with 91 defense power right now.
Right, yeah. I think 91 is basically enough there in terms of the defense power. Oh, there's a fun police, don't get him here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He gets away. Okay.
Whew.
Yeah. Scary. He is gonna...
Oh,
some herbs there.
I'm very worried now that he's used 2 herbs there instead of 1. He's going to be low. Like, he needs to enter that Dragon Lord 2 fight with full HP. That's a necessity, pretty much.
Right. And, especially since, you know, there is a decent chance Dragon Lord 2, or Dragon Lord 1 for that matter, will get the drop on you. And, you know, go first. Which is never something you want to see, but it happens fairly often.
McGrew just brought up another point which I didn't think about right away, but it's absolutely true. It's very likely the Seawolf will find the fighter's ring in the treasury, and that will increase his odds just by a little bit.
That will help him out, yes. We were talking earlier about how that 2 attack power doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, in practical terms, that is an extra maximum damage on the Dragon Lord, or possibly an extra minimum and maximum, you know, depending on essentially which 2 attack power you get, if that makes sense.
Oh, but he's skipping the treasury.
Not checking the treasury. I don't know that I would advocate that, but okay.
So it'll come down to whether or not he gets first attack and how the rolls are.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking what you were saying earlier, he's going to want to save those herbs for the Dragon Lord. Instead of, you know, risking as few steps as it is, you know, the extra steps and the extra battles to check the treasury.
Right, unfortunately he probably would have found an herb or 2 in the treasury.
That is also true.
So I don't know if 1 death would be enough to put Jaylow back into this, but it's certainly going to narrow the gap by a wide margin. But again, Seawolf could still win here,
yep.
So we'll see what happens.
So, pretty easy mini-boss there. Blue Dragon. And he is going to use the herb to heal up here. Hopefully he's holding down B here. He is, okay, good. So let's see how this goes.
Okay, so he's down in HP, which means he's only going to get one attack here. Oh, and the back attack.
Unless that happens, oh boy.
So with 2 less attacks, the probability of success is very low, and I'm hoping that he'll count the damage he's doing and try to use Hurtmores in the end.
Yeah. Let's see how this goes. He's at 14. Okay.
$26.
14, 26.
$36.
Oof. A lot of fire breath here, too.
Being down 2 attacks, I am expecting Hurtmore to be a necessity for success. That's 52. Can't blame him for trying, even if he knows that, though.
Yeah.
$69. $81. It's still possible to get max rolls and sneak in a victory. So
Right.
that's 2 possibilities. There's 93. $107. Only 3 heal mores left,
Heal
so you,
mores left,
you can
indeed.
see the
Yeah.
risk. And at this point, it makes sense to try and get in 2 or 3 Hurtmores. But he's attacking. That's 118. He can still get 2 Hurtmores if he tries now. But he might not have been counting, so he's going to attack it through. That's 127.
There's a 9. Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
Still possible with 2 maximum attacks here, but very unlikely. 136. He's not out of range of possibility, but that's not enough. 145. So you can already see if he hadn't lost those 2 initial attacks, nearly 100% that he would have done enough damage with those 2 extra attacks.
Yes, and it is interesting that he, yeah, as RCT mid said, it is interesting that he didn't try the very last Hurtmore, because, as you mentioned, he wasn't totally out of range, but I think, number one, he would have needed a very high damage roll, and the Dragon Lord would have had to have had pretty low max HP as well.
Right.
So at that point, I would probably have gone for the Hail Mary Hurtmore, if you will.
So this time Seawolf will have full herbs. And I think he's going to go for it again because he knows he missed out on 2 attacks early on, and it looks like it would have been more than enough. Yeah, I believe you're right, RCT. I don't think he was counting damage. Hurtmore is only a 1 in 16, but if he had realized earlier, he could have gotten 3 Hurtmores in. And at the point where I would have started trying Hurtmore. So that would have put his odds close to 3 in 16, certainly above 1 in 8.
Yep. And meanwhile here, Jaylow is back in Garanham, so I have to think he is... Yep, he's gonna finally find the jerk. Now, I do wonder if he might have known where that was the whole time and just, you know, decided he wanted to try and grind a little more, but...
Hard to speculate, but yeah, regardless, he's going to have the rainbow drop now.
Yep. And, yeah, as Snuggletooth saying in in the chat, I think, even if you weren't necessarily counting damage 100%, I think, at the end there, he had the MP for the hurt more, and as you mentioned, he was at, I believe, 136, you said, before that last attack, so...
Right. So he could have done 155 at most.
Right.
So even if he was counting, I suppose I can't blame him for trying it at that point. But I definitely, as I say, I definitely would have switched to Hurtmore's earlier when I had the chance to get 3 of them in.
Right. So now I'm wondering if Jaylow actually did open every single chest at one point, because he went into Rimuldar, or Rimuldar as you like to say. I have no idea which one is actually correct. And opened the chest there.
And yeah, it's worth mentioning again that if the Seawolf does think to get the Fighter's Ring, he's going to have a much higher chance of success. And it's just a matter of thinking of it, I guess. I was really surprised you didn't.
Yeah, I was also a little bit surprised you didn't check the treasury there. But
that's one of the reasons I like the Fighter's Ring where it is. When you get into these situations and the Fighter's Ring is in Charlock, it's one last decision you have to weigh, whether or not it's worth it to spend a minute or so going over to the treasure room. McGrew is planning the possibility of buffing the Fighter's Ring. I personally like it the way it is. I would adjust if it were higher, but I think if it is higher, it's going to increase the probability that people are going to spend more time picking up all the treasure chests in caves.
right, looking for it, as opposed to, like in our race last night, neither of us had a reason to go to the mountain cave, for instance.
Right.
I did end up, as you said, checking the treasury, and I believe you did too. For the Fighter's Ring, just in case it was in there, but if it were a more valuable item, we might have been more compelled to actually take a look at, the mountain cave, try to find wherever the heck that was. I mean, I was honestly thinking, since I didn't find the mountain cave in our race, I was sort of hoping you did and wasted a bunch of time exploring it, and, that would have given me some kind of edge, but alas, it was not to be.
And this time Seawolf, twice in a row getting stopped by red dragons on the first floor, still with a significant edge. And it looks like Jaylow making the decision to grind in Charlock. No chance of going at level 14.
It looks like he might be trying to... Yeah, it looks like he might be trying to make a dive either to the treasury and or to see what the mini-boss enemy is there. Yeah,
in general, if I'm close in levels, well, I guess even if I'm not close in levels, I always consider the possibility that that it's worth it to go down there, especially if I'm looking for a Fighter's Ring. And it's also worth noting that if you know what's on the first 2 floors, it's possible that you might want a different enemy set on future floors, just for grinding.
That is true as well. True. I can't say I've ever done much grinding in the middle of Charlock, although I have, when I particularly feel like gambling, I will sometimes check the vanilla Erdrick sword chest and see what's in there, which actually has paid off for me once or twice. But particularly if I'm not all that close to the level and I'm going to have to fight a bunch of enemies anyway, I'll kind of, do like a pseudo grind that, kill whatever I happen to come across while I'm doing that.
Right.
But that is interesting. I don't think I've ever thought of grinding in the middle of Charlock, like a proper grind. It's always been typically either the first floor, or I'll hang out on the bottom floor, as I did last night once I found the red dragon was the mini-boss there.
Right. I don't think I've ever favored grinding on the middle floors. I think that would involve extreme circumstances, like the Dream Red Dragons and Dream Blue Dragons being on the middle floor and nothing else good on the top or bottom. Something like that.
But it is interesting to think about. Kind of put that away as an option for future races.
Now, it's interesting to note, Jaylow actually has Oh, he's used some MP now, so he won't have 11 heal mores. If he didn't have to use that MP, then he would have been ready to go when he reached level 15, and this could have been really close.
Yeah, he might have been ready to try that.
As it stands, Jaylow is in grind mode, and we'll see how he reacts when he reaches level 15.
Yes.
Which is next enemy.
Yep, that'll be this Axe Knight here. 7, 10, 3, 2.
Meanwhile, Seawolf doing the right thing. I absolutely would try again in his position. And if he's thought of searching for the fighter's ring, that's going to help him out a lot as well.
Yes. Meanwhile, yes, Jaylow in a bit of a... You know, it's kind of interesting to think now, okay, it looks like he is going onward, so I have to imagine he is going to check the treasury, at the very least. See what's there. He does appear to still be in kind of full kill enemies / grind mode, which does make sense. I don't think he had the MP to defeat the Dragon Lord at level 15 at any rate.
No, he was a heal more down, and that was too much to risk at this point.
Right. But I have to imagine he will, at the very least, check the treasury, and we'll see if he... we'll see how far behind he thinks he is and how much he wants to gamble here, but I imagine he's probably going to go just for the treasury.
Yeah, you could go with 8 heal mores like he has right now. You could go for 100 damage and then a hurt more, but it's just going to take... oh, there you go. Seawolf is going for the fighter's ring.
Seawolf is going to the treasury now. He's got a 6 and 7 shot that it's in here.
But yeah, that possibility would cost him an extra 3 or 4 minutes or so if it doesn't work, which it usually won't, of course.
Right. See, okay, he got an herb back, so that's good. It's probably worth it just for the extra herb, I would think.
Definitely.
Some wings? Okay.
Getting nervous as we get down to the last 2 chests.
More gold.
And there it is.
There it is, center chest. Center, bottom center there. He puts it on, so that is definitely going to help out his odds here.
Yeah, if he arrives at at DL1 with 4 herbs or more, I would put him well in like a very high percentage to win.
Yes. Axe Knight getting the jump on him.
Both players at level 15 now. It's unfortunate that Jaylow is continuing downward, but again, it looks like even if he were to leave now and come back with full MP, it looks like Seawolf is just going to win here, so it wouldn't make a difference at this point.
Right, I would have to think so. Unless, you know... Although stranger things have happened. You know, rolls could be particularly bad, Seawolf could misclick.
That's right.
We've definitely seen the accidental, the accidental hurt more or the accidental repel instead of heal more.
Yeah, Seawolf's fight in itself is not over yet. We'll see how it goes. There's one stop spell.
There's a stop
Oh,
spell.
he doesn't even bother to use an herb. That was a surprise.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that decision, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, he does get the first attack here. He rolls a 10. Let's see.
So yeah, even without that attack, I put him in a very high chance to win right now.
And I will just point out, I would have gambled on that 46 and I would have lost. I would, I've noted that one thing that kind of sets me apart is if I think I'm behind, I will gamble more than I perhaps should, such as checking the vanilla Erdrick sword chest, for instance, or swinging at a slightly lower HP on the Dragon Lord.
So he's already done 57 with 8 heal mores left, so great odds to win. So that's,
I think it's 60. You said you did 57, so that would be 68.
there we go. Oh, just barely doesn't miss out on an attack there. Now done 80.
Yeah. Okay, so he's
Taking the risk at 46, and he's okay.
Yep, should be good. Okay.
So with that 16, he's totally guaranteed unless heal mores just don't do enough. So he's
Right,
gonna
yeah.
have 4 HP here, and we'll see how much this heal more does.
Yeah, that is also a possibility. Where that's not a great heal more there.
He's back in danger, so he's gonna use the heal
Yeah.
more. I like this decision here because he's so far ahead of the damage curve.
Yeah, I do as well. Another 15. We've got 2 more heal mores, probably 3 more attacks is what that means.
Yes. I did lose exact count, but again, I am very comfortable with his position right now. I expect him to win on the last attack.
Yeah.
And here it comes.
Here we go.
Congratulations to the Seawolf.
There it is. Has done well in defeating the Dragon Lord.
Using the wings to
wing.
return.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Jaylow using this time to grind up to level 16, which again almost certainly will be enough.
I would have to think so. And
I mean-
meanwhile, we see... Seawolf has officially finished in first place. His SRL time, 2 hours, 1 minute, and 46 seconds.
The seed did turn long.
It did. And we actually now have the Seawolf in chat here with us. Hello, sir.
Hey there. Oh. So, how about that sleep spell? Sleep,
Yes.
sleep.
Sleep Stall, first, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
So tell us about that Dragon Lord fight.
First one or the second one?
The second
either
one.
but I guess the second one in particular.
Second one, basically I felt like I was getting low. No, the range is, that's right, the range is 85 to 100. But I felt like I was casting heal spells and not getting full health after like having 15 health. So I was basically getting like 93, 94 and having to risk a few of those rolls.
Indeed. And just as a note, yeah, Jaylow will be absolutely fine at 16. Got a nice power boost, huge HP boost. So I imagine he's probably going to... he's probably going to either bail out here or possibly even just, say, you know what, screw it and try it with 7 heal mores. I don't think it'll be quite that... I don't think he's quite that strong, but...
Well, he's got a
you never
chance
know.
with the extra HP and the very high defense.
That is true.
Yeah,
I'd
did you
certainly
have
be-
another shield?
I'd certainly be curious to try it at this point, given that that the race result is already over.
Yeah.
But no, it looks like he's just suiciding.
Yeah, okay, he's gonna go outside and, yeah, heal up and... Okay.
Do it the hard way.
Yep.
Did he get the silver shield by chance?
He did, yes. So yeah, that was one thing I noticed. I don't think you ever got the silver shield, correct?
No, I still ground for the flame sword early on, and then basically just let it ride from there.
Yes, we did notice that, and that did kind of give you a fairly substantial early game advantage, because that did let you, kill some enemies much more easily.
Yeah, there were a lot of
In that case.
surprises. Skeletons especially surprised me. They had a low chance of hurt more. I actually fought a few the hard way, never got killed, and suddenly they're blowing me up. So they changed their tune pretty fast.
Right, yeah. Sometimes that happens. Like with Nescard and the Scorpions last night, he actually killed one, and it took like 6 or 7 hits without ever realizing it could destroy you. I forget if it was Hurt More or Dragon Lord Breath, but whichever one it was.
Yeah, I think I'd hurt more.
Yeah.
Ruins as well. So a lot of the low end enemies, like I was running from that level 7, level 8 because I couldn't one shot them. And I knew they could just kill me instantly.
Right, yeah, a lot of things in this did seem to have Hurt More or Dragon Lord Breath, I noticed.
And that's bad enough. But yeah, the Star Weapons and the Green Dragons having sleep, and,
Yep.
access to Hurt More and Dragon Lord Breath respectively. So those were bad ways to get killed.
Yeah, those are no fun.
And Hawk's Nest was really far off. It was the last thing I found, all the way to the south. So I did grind there because the Armor Knights were pretty tame. The Red Dragons were just pure attackers. They didn't have any spells, no ways to, no tricks. They just beat you up. So it wasn't worth fighting those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we did notice you definitely running away from a lot of those, trying to.
Yeah, and then no golems and no metal slimes. So high experience was not to be found.
I think Jaylow got a metal slime with an excellent move.
Ooh, I didn't even see one. Like, I didn't even see a slime the whole time. And I had 2 crits only. It was 2 Armor Knights in a row. For my only crits the entire match.
Right, yeah. What was I gonna say? I don't know. But, so tell us about the actual initial decision to go at level 15. Did you just kind of do some math and decide... well, first off, did you think you were ahead at that point? Because
I knew the sea was really rough, and seeing all the Red Dragons being the most common enemy in the first 3 floors of Charlock, I realized that getting through Charlock itself would be a bear. Like, you could be ahead of me and still be getting killed over and over again by the dragons. And yeah, they battled the Green Dragons lower, you can see between instantly too. So I figured it was a hard walk through it either way, one level or no levels. I figured I had the strength to do it, and I actually did have the strength to do it. My last 2 rolls in the first fight were actually, I think, 9 and 9, so I was pretty close. I was like 140, I think I was. And I ended up doing like 156 to him, and it wasn't enough.
okay.
So I was really close, and I got, I think, minimum rolls for the last 2 attacks I had.
Yeah, it was certainly, it was close, but yeah, you definitely had some low rolls there. So did you, you just thought you had the strength to do it? Is that why you skipped the treasury the first time around?
Yeah, I figured I had a chance to do it, and if I could do it without the ring, and I didn't know it was in the bottom floor. I didn't know if it was more Red Dragons or not, so I figured, let's minimize the walking and get there as fast as possible. And it was all wizards, basically, wizards and werewolves. So the second time around, I wasn't worried about going back to it.
Right, yeah, that is something I had brought up here in the commentary as being a possibility, wanting to kind of conserve herbs and, not risk running into, whatever was down there, so.
Yeah, it was a pretty tame basement, actually. The truck itself was pretty rough, but the actual bottom floor was pretty easy.
Right, once you got there. So we see Jaylow now trying to make his way down. As you mentioned, yeah, he's using a couple herbs on his way now. As you said, very rough with the Armored Knights and the Red Dragons.
I actually saw very few Armored Knights. I saw, I think, 3 or 4 the whole time I was in there. But
Okay.
Red Dragons over and over again.
Red Dragons are quite common, yeah.
Still surprising to me with that super high agility that that there's any trouble running from anything in Charlock.
Yeah, but they didn't care. One Red Dragon, I think I ran 6 times and still ended up killing me.
Amazing.
And I knew I had to keep the heal more, as I couldn't heal. So if I died to a Red Dragon, I just shrugged and walked back to Charlock.
Yeah, it's always tough, knowing that, sometimes you make the correct play like that and you just get screwed by, Red Dragon or Armor Knight or whatever. I know I've definitely had Siege where I've gone from 120 HP to dead on one Armor Knight because he just absolutely refuses to let me run.
Yep.
Even though my agility should be pretty good and my chances of running should be pretty good, but sometimes the game just decides, nope, you're dead.
I mean, I was having problems. I was running from a red slime by the castle. It got in front of me and breathed fire on me, end game. The Ghost and Hawk's Nest I tried to run from a few times and stopped me from running. I was getting really bad run luck overall.
Mm-hmm. But, I think the big thing that helped you out is that Jaylow, whether he just forgot or was trying to just grind and explore everything, he didn't get the rainbow drop until very late.
Really?
I don't know if he just forgot that it was in Garanham or never knew it was in Garanham, but
the first thing I found was the Jerk Cave. I went to, obviously we had the return, so we had the free keys. We had a lot of gold, so I bought keys in the castle.
Hmm.
more gold and keys in the treasury, so it's infinite supply of keys there basically. So you can go back there, get your gold, get your free herb, and repeat ad nauseum. But yeah, Garanham's the first town I found, and sure enough, the back of Garanham had the Dirt Cave. So,
Right.
And the Mountain Cave had all the goodies. The Mountain Cave had the staff, had the stones, and had the sword.
Yes, indeed. And you and he found that at roughly the same time. He actually found it a little bit before you did, but you entered the mountain cave before he exited. So, that
So
was
yeah,
actually something I wanted to ask you about. Was your decision to you found Garen's grave pretty early on, and you opted not to do a gold grind. Was that just because you weren't aware of anything at that point beyond the flame sword, which I
Yeah, at
think
the
you
time,
already
I didn't
had?
know I didn't know what the shield was, and I knew that walking around at level 7, wizards were killing me. There were 4 or 5 enemies around the main castle that could kill me basically on command. So I didn't know where any more towns were yet. So if I came across another town, I thought about it, and I found a silver shield in coal. I think it was actually no, it was a candle. But at that point, it was so far away, I figured it wasn't worth the trouble of trying to go back around. And I was getting some pretty good agility boosts on my levels too, so I figured it might not be as important.
Right, right. Yeah, this was a very high agility seed as well. Meanwhile, Jaylow has made it to the Dragon Lord here.
and at level 16 it'll be an automatic victory with assuming no mistakes.
Right. Again, stranger things have happened. But as you mentioned, it should be, especially since he did not get back attacked by Dragon Lord 2. Yeah, first attack 21.
But yeah, it'll be fine.
As long as he does not misclick,
Yeah.
particular count here. So a third attack he gets in the first round, yeah, he's absolutely got this.
Yeah. The first, for Great Deal of Seed, you had heal 1 at the bottom, and I actually have 2 deaths attributed to the fact that I was just hitting down, 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 A. Like, I'm going to heal now. It's like, oh, you catch hurt more on the Red Dragon, does nothing. It's like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, we were wondering about that.
No, those are mistakes. 'Cause for about 10
I
levels,
kind of
you didn't
figured, yeah.
have hurt more. Yeah, those are errors. 1 stray attack against a dragon that killed me, and yeah, so a few oddball things happened. But basically, from not having access to those things, there, I was actually talking to someone on the side. I was trying to take care of some business, and I
Right.
ended up fighting a dragon I wanted to heal when I wanted to heal. And obviously, those 2 kills from the dragons were from having healed 1 at the bottom for most of the race.
Oh, Jaylo, what are you doing?
Oh no, he's
Speaking
floating.
of misclicking,
Oh no.
So Jaylow has forfeited.
yes.
Oof.
He was at 40 HP and attacked. I have to think that was a misclick.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, even when I don't know, yeah, even if your odds are just about 100%, it's never absolute. Things like that can definitely happen. You can misclick, or if playing on an emulator, it can eat your input, or your
Yeah,
controller's starting to break. It can also eat your input. I've definitely had that happen.
Yeah. I definitely hover over heal more for a second. The Dragon Lord fights, just to make sure.
Yeah,
I'm
I am absolutely the same way. I definitely stop there for half a second to a second just to make absolutely sure I'm selecting the correct spell.
Same here. It's just too big an important decision to risk, trying to gain half a second or however small it is.
Yeah, it's easily a 5-minute loss every time that happens.
Yes.
Boo. Well, he had that fight in the bag. Like, Dragon Lord was not going to survive that fight. It was definitely a win on his end.
Right.
But unfortunately, the either input or something of the sort ended that.
Right. Input, or I wasn't actually doing an exact count. I don't know if he thought he might have been closer than he actually was to winning. But yeah, he has forfeited. I don't know if he wants to join us here. Honestly, I mean, I can ask, but
Well, we put up there and see where's the IRC.
Yeah, I sort of figured he would have joined by now if he did.
Yeah, he's He's still streaming, but he's not no. That's definitely
Okay, yeah, he just commented on the race. Easiest Dragon Lord fight I've seen until controller stopped working.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's...
Mm-hmm.
Yep, been there.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a thing you gotta worry about. Any kind of official hardware. If you're playing Flash Cart, you have to worry about cartridge tilt. If your controllers, I guess controllers are old nowadays. Like you can't find new ones. So
right, yeah.
Hardware risk is definitely a problem.
All that stuff could stop working anytime. I had to buy. Bless you. I had to. I had to actually buy a basically a little wireless router dongle thingy that basically lets me use wireless Xbox 360 controllers as PC controllers. Because my old USB controller actually was finally starting to give up the ghost, so which I found out in a situation similar to what just happened to poor Jaylow there, except I somehow miraculously survived the resulting Dragon Lord attack, and it was funny because that particular fight ended up coming down to the last attack. So if I, had done the smart thing and heal more when I should have, I actually probably would have lost that fight. But yeah, but that is definitely unfortunate to see.
So it's worth mentioning that, I want to congratulate you for actually going at level 15. It's a hard decision to make. The odds were very close, but 100% I would have gone at level 15, especially with the high probability of finding a fighter's ring on the bottom floor. So you did the right thing. You made the right decision.
Yeah, the stats are there. It's just even the first time too, I could have won without the ring. I just rolled low in the last 2 or 3 attacks. I rolled lower than I really should have.
Right, and you lost your first heal more as well, which is huge.
Yeah, I got jumped on the second form, which I knew. Once that happened, I just punched my chair. I was like, nope, that's bad.
Yep. Yeah, it's never a good thing to see. It's one of those things you sort of have to take into account in your calculations, but you still never like to see it. It's like,
yeah. I don't want to fish for. I don't want to herb. I want to try fishing for a spell on the first form. So I just let it roll. And
right. Okay.
Punched.
Yeah, we were wondering about that too. We thought you might have wanted to. We were kind of wondering why you didn't do that, but yeah, that makes sense.
There's Jaylow.
Oh, Jaylow has joined us here. Hello, Jaylow.
Hello. Wow.
Well, first off, commiserations and sorry for how that Dragon Lord fight ended. I sort of feel like I jinxed it a little bit because I said something to the effect of, barring a misclick, you absolutely have this fight. Which, I say because it has happened, and it sounds like it was a controller issue on your end there.
Yeah, my controller flat out quit working. That's why I didn't go back and try to finish.
Right, yeah.
It wouldn't even recognize my A press to trigger the, okay, I'm dead, send me back to the castle.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's completely dead. I'm going to have to buy a new one.
Ouch.
Which means I'm probably going to have to pull out of the Zelda 2 tournament now.
Oh, the
it's gonna
randomizer
be,
as well. Yeah.
It's going to be the beginning of November before I can afford a new controller.
Oof. But yeah, so... well, first off, GG getting as far as you did. And tell us a little bit about what happened in kind of a late game, because we were wondering what was taking you so long to get the rainbow drop?
I never found the area where those 2 towns were. I had never found Urinham until I finally did when I got the drop. I had not found it earlier.
Okay.
So that's what happened. I should have won that, but I lost way too much time searching for the darn jerk cave.
Right, searching for Urinham and or the jerk cave. Yeah.
Because after I found that one cave and found in that same cave the stones, the Staff of Rain, and Erdrick's sword, I'm like, okay, now I just need to find the freaking jerk cave, and it took me forever.
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, we weren't sure if you had actually found Garenham or the Jerk Cave at that point, because Seawolf had, and you, you found all those items in the mountain cave, but he was not actually that far behind you at that point. He was in the mountain cave by the time you had exited it, let's put it that way.
Wow, no idea it was that close.
Yeah. Uh, but it was mainly just, then he took kind of a experience advantage, and that kind of carried him through to the end, I would say.
It's interesting. I think most races are closer than most people would expect, and we're seeing that a lot in every single race, especially for the first hour or so. Both players are typically within a couple hundred experience of each other the entire time. So anything can happen.
Right, and as we mentioned a couple times here, a couple hundred experience is not actually that much in the grand scheme of things. It looks like a big, 2 or 3 level advantage, but by the end game, by when you're actually going to the Dragon Lord, that's really nothing. That's, in absolute terms, it's basically 1 red dragon, for instance, or, it's less than a level. Put it that way. So outside of your search for Garenham, how did you like that seed? And I guess Seawolf, I'll ask you the same question. What did you think about this seed overall?
It was a pretty aggressive seed monster-wise. A lot of monsters had high-level abilities. Sleep is very common. I was actually surprised last night. I think only 1 enemy in 2 races I commentated had sleep, and this race had at least 3 had sleep. I know at least 6 monsters in this seed had Deal or 2 breath or hurt more as well. So a lot of aggression from the monsters. Demon Knight, Werewolf, Red Slime, Green Dragon, Star Wyvern, Magician had hurt more as well. So yeah, quite a few monsters could easily take you down very quickly.
Yep, I ran into that same issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we commenting here, we didn't think it was necessarily going to be, necessarily a super difficult seed, because in terms of the actual strength of the enemies minus their abilities, there wasn't any of the, didn't see too many of, like, the super hellish enemies, the armored knights, the red dragons, really any dragons, on the overworld map, kind of near the start, but it did seem like a lot of those enemies, some of that kind of mid-tier did have a lot of high-level abilities that, kind of hindered your search for a while.
Yeah, the main thing.
You get the same sense of that Nest card.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was nice to see such a clean start. Jaylow wasn't getting as much experience in the early game as he was exploring, but it just didn't matter because it was so easy to catch up when he got his equipment and everything. And once he got going, the gap narrowed to 0, and it was just neck and neck for a good half hour or more.
Yeah, the main thing, my first exploration, I was just running. I think I had like 35 or something agility at level 3, and I was just running from everything. Like, I was walking west and south and north and just, Armor Knight, run away, Magician, run away, Wizard, run away. Like, I got a good, 5 minutes spree of just walking around for free. Didn't find anything, but definitely told me where things were not. So that did help.
Right. Sometimes knowing where things aren't, especially if you're keeping, a map, is very helpful. Yeah, one thing I will mention is Jaylow did actually have an equipment advantage at one point when you did the gold grind, Jaylow, for the magic armor and the silver shield. You were at that point or not magic armor and silver shield. You did eventually grind for the silver shield, but before that you did like a kind of mini grind for the broadsword, full plate, and large shield. And at that point, you actually basically had an equipment advantage over Seawolf, because Seawolf, like you said, you never actually got the silver shield at all.
No. Once I saw it was at that point in the race, I figured it was the grind. The caves were far to the west. I figured I was not going to waste my time walking back, getting the chest again. I couldn't die, actually. I did want to die in the Earth Cave. I was so strong at that point, nothing could ever kill me. It was like,
Oh, that's right, yeah. Someone in the chat mentioned that it looked like you were trying to die, but you had sold off your dragon scale, so you couldn't... There wasn't really anything you could do to waste turns, it seemed like.
Yeah, I couldn't waste any turns, and actually that one time I was walking a minute before I got it. So I was like, I couldn't find any monsters to fight, and then the ones I were fighting, paltry. I was like, I could not... There was a skeleton that could maybe hurt more than me, but I had to punch it and kill it instantly. So I could not die in that cave.
Right.
Right. That happens.
yeah, that is kind of interesting that, sometimes the one time you want to die and you just can't do it.
There's no enemy
I
walking
run into
around
that
there.
frequently in these seeds where it's like, okay, now that I want to fight enemies and grind, I'm coming across nothing for 30 seconds straight.
All I could do, I had one heal spell. I actually used it on a. I think I healed just to get the first round off on a skeleton, hoping for a hurt more, and he decided just to hit me, so I couldn't die.
Right.
That was my only choice, to fight either that guy or Red Slime and try and bait a strong attack out of him. It didn't work. Other than that, good stat gains. Early game high agility. End game actually was pretty high. Looking at it still in the stats. The luck on running was obviously abysmal.
Yeah, I
Fly
did
through
notice that, especially given how
Yeah.
high or agility actually was there. It did seem like it. But anyway, taking a look at the bracket here, Seawolf, congratulations, you move on to the skeleton round, where you will be facing High Spirits in the next round.
Oh boy. No, that should be interesting.
Yeah, interesting. The this whole middle group of seeds is very interesting, and I would argue maybe not really representative of a person's true skill at the Dragon Warrior randomizer. But Jaylow, unfortunately, that does mean you have been eliminated. But hopefully you had fun, even with the controller issues near the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame this has to come to an end over time. I just want to see everyone race over and over and over. And this was another interesting one to watch. Again, it was close for the majority of the race. And it was interesting to watch things shift as one player found coal, one player found, the item on the map at different times, things like that.
But the
Yeah,
map
that
too,
was actually something I wanted to ask you, Seawolf. Was it looked
Yeah.
like you misread the coordinates at first?
Well, here's the deal. W and E are next to each other on the keyboard, so when I press the button for west, I hit east by accident.
Ah, okay.
So I was walking to the east, stomping
Yep.
around like, I know it's a 25.
Right,
So,
yeah.
so you wrote him down wrong.
Yes, I hit the wrong button.
I've done that.
So,
Yeah.
very
You were,
conveniently, east and west are right in the same spot on the keyboard. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, of the two big mistakes that I made in my race last night, the one I wasn't fretting so much over was kind of screwing up my walk to the coordinates location. Because it was like, yeah, that sucks, but you know what? That can happen to anyone, and it's probably not the last time I'm going to do it. So, and sure enough, we saw that here in this case. Screwing up the coordinates in some fashion is quite easy to do, even if the coordinates themselves should be fairly easy to get to. Which, in that case, I don't think there was really any major obstacle in, going, 3 north, 25 west, or something like that.
Yeah, it was very, very tame.
Yeah.
There's one lake you had to go around for 2 steps to north extra and then go back down. It was child's play, barely.
Right, yeah.
As opposed to 3 north and 88 west as of last night.
Right, yes. Yeah, but sometimes even those seemingly simple walks, if the map is not cooperative,
Yeah.
I've definitely had walks where it's like, 20 north, 10 east or whatever, but the design of the map means you have to go west, then kind of all the way back around to actually get there, take the roundabout route, which is also kind of irritating.
Trelloc is literally, I think, 8 south and 5 east of the castle, but there's water there, and you have to go to the whole world to get to it.
Yes.
So that is possible.
Yep.
Yep. And then that item wound up not being useful. I never saw a golem.
I didn't see Golem either.
I don't think there were any golems, yeah. But
Not on one.
Maybe he was the Princess Guardian. That's the only thing I can think of he could be.
That's possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't bother
possibly.
looking. I took one step into the South Marsh Cave and catch outside, and that's the end of that. So, and then those 3 were all in the same spot. Those 2 in a shrine were basically on the same location on the map. So there's no point to go there anymore.
right.
Yep.
But anyway, I don't think we have any more races scheduled for tonight, unless someone scheduled something in the short term.
Not that I've seen. Let's take a gander.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the schedule.
Yeah, take a look at the schedule here. Let's let everyone know what else is coming up here in the next few days.
Yeah, so Zyron Capped Mars is scheduled for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then the next scheduled matches aren't for another 5 days, but there will probably be more cropping up before then. I still have to schedule my match with Zarnax.
Yeah, I have to schedule mine as well.
And actually, those races are for the fourth, the Golem and the Skeleton round down there. But
Yep.
yeah, odds are I'll probably have a race within the next 3 or 4 days as well, just from the round timing from the 30th to the 3rd.
Yeah. So you'll definitely be seeing more races scheduled in the next week or so. Definitely the next 4 days coming up here. Because the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe that's 8 matches in the Skeleton round that have to be completed between 9:30 and 10:03, so you'll definitely be seeing more exciting Dragon Warrior randomizer action coming up here.
Absolutely. We'll probably see a lot of those get scheduled for over the weekend,
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, I would have to think so.
since the 3rd is Monday.
Yep, so I'll be back relatively soon for mine, and as will quite a few other players, as we move forward in this bracket. So thank you guys tonight for the race. Thank you MDI for joining me for commentary.
Yes, thank you for having me. I definitely enjoyed it.
Many more to look forward to in the near future.
Yes. So will there be any more randomizer races tonight? Not tournament races, but just races or solo runs, or maybe some Monopoly?
I'd certainly like to. I'd certainly like to do another randomizer seed. I just feel like I can still benefit from practice. I want to keep sharp, so I'm going to do a seed whether there's a race or not.
Okay. So yeah, stick around here, and you'll get to see more Dragon Warrior randomizer. But anyway, I think that is going to about do it for me for tonight. Thank you, Nescard, for letting me co-commentate here, and thanks Jaylow and Seawolf for the race. GG's to both of you.
Thank you.
I will see you all some other time.
Yep, see you guys soon. Thank you everyone for watching.